Hello there. Unfortunately, your normal hosts of Ranked and Reviewed have been fucking murdered. By us. So, this special Ranked and Reviewed episode, Halloween episode for Halloween, is going to be hosted by us deadly motherfuckers. So with that, as I think Tomye West says, I think he's the guy that hosts this show that I just fucking decapitated. Let's let the intro run. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Ranked and Reviewed special celebration episode. And this is our best and fucking worst movie list. I am your host, Ghostface, and joining me for the first time ever, but will be staying around for a while now that these motherfuckers are dead, co-host ALANNIS Maximus. He's dead. So now we have Kmart the Stabber.
Yes.
Now, I'm Ghostface, of course. And forgive me if I am rude here, Kmart the Stabber, but I have yet to hear of you. I'm sure you've heard of me.
Yes. You're much more infamous, but I will be. I'm the new guy.
Are you a fan of my work?
I am.
You've been.
I look forward to you mentioning my new movie that I'm going to be in your next movie.
What movie are you going to be in?
Stabbing at Kmart.
Very, very new.
That's a working title.
Oh, I was hoping that'd be the real thing.
Yeah.
So with that, we're going to get on to. It's good because all the work that ALANNIS and Tomye have done for this show, their top 5 horror movies of all time list, the work's already done. So we just have to read out their lists. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Just give me a second. Hello. How'd you get this number? Sydney, I call you. Sydney, I call you. You don't call me.
Do you want me to stab her?
Oh, you didn't tell me I forgot the voice thing. Sydney, I call you. You don't call me. You do this again, I'm going to see what your insides look like. Yeah, we'll talk later. Yep. Coffee sounds good. Sorry about that, guys. That was unexpected. She never calls me. All right. So, with that, Kmart the Stabber. We're going to get started with your top Halloween movies. And that starts with your number 5 entry into this, called Descent.
Yes.
Now, some footage will play over the top of this, and will so for every entry in the episode. Explain to the people, Kmart the Stabber, why you like Descent. Maybe give them a breakdown about what it is.
Basically, one thing I dig about this movie is there's not really one single happy moment. It is just pretty much from the very start, a depressing spiral where just bad things happen. Long story short, tragedy happens. Bunch of friends end up going spelunk. Well, it's spelunking when you go underground, I think. We'll say spelunking. They get trapped underground, and then it turns out they're in the essentially like nest of weird subterranean humanoid predators, and the movie's about them being hunted in the dark and gruesomely killed. And yeah, it's a touching story. But yes, it's very well done, and it kind of came out in a time when there's a bit of a dry zone of good horror, especially at the cinema in Australia. And it was refreshing at the time to see, and I think it held up pretty well, even to today.
And sorry, what era did it come out?
2004, I'm gonna say. I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Did you say who it starred?
No one I know of note.
That's how you know it's going to be a good horror movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know anyone that's in it from anything else. So I don't actually recall their names. There's no big stars in it.
Very good. Very good. Maybe, you know what? Give me a second. Just give me one moment. Hey, Sydney, what's your favorite scary movie? Have you heard of The Descent? Okay. We'll watch it when I get home. Okay, bye. Okay, so with that, sorry. Judy calls. I am Ghostface.
Hey, it's understandable.
Let's do some cool poses quickly for our thumbnails.
Wait, where am I? Yeah.
All right, on with it. TOMYE's number 5. Top horror movie of all time. Get Out. Are you aware of this, Kmart the Stabber?
I've heard of this movie, but I don't think I've ever actually seen this movie.
This movie was made by one of the lovely Key and Peele. I believe it was the other guy, not Keegan Michael Key, but Peele. That guy. He wrote and directed and made it. Sort of a movie about a black guy that falls in love with a white woman, gets invited up to their cabin, goes there. There's a lot of other black people there that kind of seem sort of like they've had like a lobotomy or something, and weird things happen. And suddenly he's like sinking into the sofa and can't move and has to fight his way out. And it was a fun time. It was a really good time. It's Jordan Peele is his name. Jordan Peele. Sorry, I just had Sydney on my mind. So yeah, I really recommend Get Out. It was one of those movies that has you on the edge of your seat. I wouldn't say it's scary, but I'd say it's intense. I'd say
Suspenseful.
It's suspenseful. And I highly rate it. And it was a lot better than the trash that followed that he released, which was like a whole family, and they were like the same. Like, there was like 2 versions of that family, and one could climb on the walls and shit like that. And that movie not worthwhile. Get Out. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Also, ALANNIS, I don't know if you agree with me that for this list, it wouldn't have been fair to have more than one movie per franchise in the list. Am I correct?
Absolutely, that's pretty much what I've done as well.
Because otherwise, my list wouldn't have been very fun.
Yeah.
All right, we're moving on. Sorry, I called you ALANNIS then.
He's the guy I just killed.
Look, we're slipping into the job easy. That's one thing. The boss will be happy. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, the boss is TOMYE. He's fucking dead.
Hmm.
Oh, well. What can you do? So, with that, let's get on to ALANNIS's number 4 horror movie. And that is Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. Now, ALANNIS, why out of all the Nightmare on Elm Streets did you pick this one? What do you like about it? And tell the audience maybe what it's about.
It is obviously the third installment of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. The one surviving kind of character ends up in like a psych ward for kids, and along comes Freddy, as he does. But then they also kind of have a therapy group and work out that in their dreams they can also have certain powers, hence Dream Warriors. But I think it's one of the stronger Freddy movies. Some of the best kills, and I think it stands out for me there. They kind of taper off in the next couple of movies after that, I think, in quality. But yeah, I think it's one of the strongest entries. One of the movies that actually got me into Nightmare on Elm Street, and through that, a lot of other horror as a kid. So I have a bit of a soft spot for it in that regard as well.
Yeah, see, I think our lists are going to be a lot different to each other, and it's mainly because there's a bit of a time jump in between our age, and not just that, is that I wasn't the biggest horror fan, and I'm still not the biggest horror movie fan. I am into my slashers, I am into my dude walking around, either saying something or not saying something, and just letting loose. Not really anything else, but I tried to make my list a little bit, from a little from A, little from column A, a little from column B. And don't forget, after this, we're mentioning all the movies that we think are terrible horror movies. And with that, there are no rules. We can mention as many in the franchise as we want and just throw them out there and have a chat about them. So let's continue on to my number 4. That is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Do you remember this movie, ALANNIS? I mean,
yes. I think Jessica Biel was in it, if I remember correctly.
Yes, she was. This movie was fantastic. This movie, while maybe to some older horror veterans, to some older horror lovers, to people who were around for the first incarnation of this series, maybe they won't agree. But to me, I felt like they remade this movie into a modernized version that stuck fairly truthfully to the original, and also didn't skimp out on anything at all. At the start, they made it feel like it was a series of real events with the intro and the talking and the camera sound, those sounds, and the way that the chick blows their head off, and then they're running through the laundry and they're all fucking getting impaled on things. And the only thing I can't remember with this is, does Leatherface do his little dance thing at the end?
I think he does. He does.
Good. Then that makes this Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake perfect for, if any other reason doesn't exist, at least to bring it up to modern age and bring Texas Chainsaw Massacre back into the forefront where it hadn't been for a very long time beforehand. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I can remember, I haven't seen that movie in a very long time, but I can remember thoroughly enjoying that. I saw it at the cinema, I believe. And I think
I
saw it 3 weeks ago. It's a very strong one.
I went to the cinema and saw it as well. I thought it was very, very gruesome. I thought it was very, very suspenseful as well as horror, slasher. And I thought the family were all fucking disgusting and terrible, which is what you want. The sheriff was a fucking asshole and a creep. The whole town was fucked. And I loved it. And I would love to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre follow that route again, even remake the original second Texas Chainsaw Massacre more than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre we got this year. But
Yes.
not to spoil too much, we're not going to talk about that movie today, but we are talking about it. And that will be coming up in December on our top 5 or top worst movies of the year. So you make sure you check both of those out. So with that, ALANNIS, let's move on to your number 3. Sorry, I keep calling you ALANNIS, and it's because I'm trying to get into the role, so just know that. Because we're going to be here for a while.
Yes.
These cunts are dead.
I mean, I've got to pretend to be him when people call and stuff just so it doesn't seem sus.
I know, and that mask doesn't look too much off. That looks like you're wearing his skin and it's all bloodied and messy.
Yeah, so I mean,
don't worry, I'm not trying to say ALANNIS is ugly, because me and you both don't kill ugly people.
No, that would be distasteful.
No. One of my last kills, Dewey Riley. Whew. he was hot and heavy. All right.
He's a steamboat.
All right, so ALANNIS, your number 3. Drag Me to Hell. Now, ALANNIS, what do you like about this movie? What's it about? When did it come out? And yeah, set the stage for us all.
It is a Sam Raimi horror movie. I think it was
Spider-Man.
What was that?
Sam Raimi. Spider-Man.
Yes. But it was very, very kind of classic, like 80s Sam Raimi style horror. It was made in 2009, so a bit more brought up to speed. But it's basically the lead actor, or character, I should say, Christine, refuses an old lady a bank loan. And in turn, I think she's like a gypsy or some kind of sinister type. And they put a curse on her. And then pretty much just bunches of weird shit happens, and she eventually gets dragged into hell. It was also kind of a good. I was kind of surprised it made it to the cinemas based on how it was. It was like very different to other popular horror at the time. Yes, it was also a good homage to, I guess, the golden age, the 80s horror kind of vibe in the way it presented itself. It was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and yeah, one of Sam Raimi's better movies, I think, as well.
Very, very, very good. He also made Evil Dead, yeah.
Correct. Yes, he did.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good choice came up this over. So that takes us to Tomye's number 3. And that is not the 1990s one, the newer one, It. Now, It, I think, came out in, I want to say 2016. Does that sound correct?
That feels about right.
Look it up for me if you can.
2017.
2017. So
yeah.
Very close. And not only do I like this movie because Bill Skarsgård does a great job as Pennywise, but I love the non-horror element to it, which is the coming-of-age story between the children. It feels like a Goonies movie. It feels like an E.T. style movie. It has like that small town sort of set in the old days, like the Sandlot kids. You know what I mean? Like, does that all make sense?
That definitely makes sense.
I like that parallel of the story of being scary and Bill Skarsgård being creepy and do some cool special effects, along with having this all-American set in the 50s, I believe.
Yeah.
Town, Derry, which seems to have a lot of life to it. The starting with Georgie in the boat. Everything about it was enjoyable for me, except for a few little dumb decisions they made, like how stupid they made his house look. Like it literally looked like it was the Addams Family house. But apart from that, like, I think this movie was really good and has some of the most like creepy looking things happen in it. Like when he goes into his basement and it's flooded, and his brother's there, and Georgie, and then it just runs at him full pelt like a blah. Oh, that shit's creepy as fuck, So, I really like this movie. I think tells a great story, gives you enough scares, and doesn't overstay its welcome either. I think it really is a fun movie. And It Chapter 2 sucked. So I'm gonna just leave it at it Chapter 1. What do you think about that anyway?
I didn't mind both of the remakes. I have a very big soft spot for the original, the Tim Curry one. I think it was a TV movie.
Yeah.
But,
not dated well.
Yeah, didn't age too well, but it was one of those movies that scared the shit out of me as a kid. And because it did that, I have respect for it, because to this day, when I watch certain scenes from that movie, it doesn't freak me out anymore. But in the back of my mind, I'm kind of like, oh,
yeah. Did you see
yeah.
it? Did you see the first It when it came out?
The remakes I saw at the movies.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think they're to my knowledge a bit. Well, at least the first one, the first part, I guess, It won, whatever. It's a bit closer to the books than the original.
Yeah.
And it's a bit scarier, I think. I think if you compare them side by side, and I watched the Skarsgård It as a little kid, which obviously I can't, but if I could, I think that would have freaked me out even more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, with that, let's move on to your number 2. And that will be Night of the Living Dead. Now, Alana, same thing as goes for the previous ones we spoke about. Reasons why you like it, what it's about, what era did it come out, and maybe anything else the audience needs to know.
It came out in 1968, I believe. So this is a very dated movie, but I can still watch it today and enjoy it. And it pretty much paved the way. It was to zombie movies what Halloween was to slasher movies. It was kind of the first real defining, if not the first of its kind.
Sorry, I got to stop you for 1 second. Tom's waking up. Stop it! Stop it!
Give him one for me.
Stop it! Okay, yeah, keep going. He's definitely fucking dead now.
It really defined the zombie genres. George R. Romero's first zombie movie. I think I could be wrong, but it is intentionally black and white as well, and it has an interesting timeless feel. So in story, it kind of, apart from knowing it's old and telling through how it's filmed and the acting and what have you, it's still kind of, it doesn't date itself, which I think is a really good touch. It could be today in just a country town, essentially.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Sounds cool, man. Only problem is Ghostface, and I believe Tomye, not the biggest zombie fan, But I did walk in earlier, and before I murdered him, I spoke to him about it. I was like, "Oh, you're playing Resident Evil 3 remake. What do you think?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm really liking it. It's really good. Can't wait for Resident Evil 4 VR." And I said, "Cool," and then I fucking cut his head off. So, guess I'll be getting it for him and he can live vicariously through that. So let's get to Tomye's number 2. Now, look, you might think, that's a bit cheap, but it's the truth, and that is Scream 4. My own work. But listen, I'm the harshest critic of my own work. And also some of you might be going, "But Tomye, don't you remember at the end of Scream Ranked and Reviewed, you ranked Scream 5 as the best Scream movie?" Yes, I did. And after going back and thinking on it, I have changed my mind and believe that Scream 4 is the funnest slasher movie out of these movies. Maybe not the most original, maybe not the most loved. I would even say that the original Scream is more masterfully put together than this movie. But the gore factor, the kill count, the way how gruesome like Ghostface is in this movie, Scream 4 takes it for me. And I really enjoy that movie and how we kind of continue on at the end with at the hospital, and there are some gruesome as fuck kills in this movie, you know, and the police officers and the girl getting killed next door in the bedroom while they watch and all that shit. Like, Scream 4 was go. And when we go back to our ranked and reviewed series for Scream, when Scream 6 comes out early next year, we will be re-ranking them. And I'm telling you now, Scream 4 will be going ahead of Scream 5. What do you think about this choice, Kmart the Stabber?
I feel it's very close in my opinion. I'll probably have to watch 4 and 5 back to back to really form my opinion. But yes, yeah, it's interesting. I think at this point I'd still put 5 above it, but we'll see when we re-rank TOMYE and ALANNIS' rankings because they're dead.
They are.
So, I mean, we've got to redo them.
Yeah. Cool. So let's move on to the final countdown. All right, cool. Alannis' number one Halloween horror movie is Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. Now, Alannis, I know a lot of people love the Evil Dead series.
Yeah.
I know the Evil Dead series has undergone many transformations of style as well. Going from more like a horror series to a sort of comedy horror series. And one of my friends, my good close friends, his favorite movie of all time is Evil Dead 3.
Army of Darkness, yes.
Yes. So, Alannis, tell me why you like this Evil Dead when it came out, and some other things that maybe the audience should know about it.
It was actually one of the first horror movies I really kind of became obsessed with. I think I saw it just I can remember Army of Darkness being in the cinema, and it was like early 90s, like maybe 91, 92. And I'm like, what is this? And then I kind of went back and watched this. And I think it's a very close call between the two movies. But I think this one, it's just always been that timeless tentpole horror movie that I can always go to. It is comedy, but it still is a serious movie as well. It's a great example of Sam Raimi's kind of work and Bruce Campbell's. And I think even in both of their work now, it gets a lot of callbacks. And even in the new Doctor Strange movie, there's a lot of call-outs to it. Yeah, it obviously is older, so it's aged interestingly, but I still put this as probably my favorite horror movie of all time.
Interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's not the choice I would have thought, you know. Just sorry, I missed the part when I was shaving. Okay. Now we're going to head to Dead Cunt Tomye's number one, and that is Halloween 2007. This is Tomye's number one horror movie of all time. Now, being Ghostface, I feel a little slighted, but we're going to talk about it anyway. We've talked about this movie ad nauseum lately due to the fact that we ranked and reviewed all the Halloween movies. Tomye and Alannis, I believe, both put this movie at the number one spot. Is that correct?
Yes, that is.
And for when TOMYE was thinking up this list, he was like, Halloween 2007 or Halloween Kills. Halloween 2007 or Halloween Kills. And it had to go to Halloween 2007, specifically because I feel like it has everything you could want in a Halloween movie. Good story, more story than usually noted, good background knowledge into the character. We still get to see the events of the original night happen, but a lot more gruesome, a lot more modernized. And I just feel like it was done with justice, and Rob Zombie did a great job. And it disappoints me that we will not be getting a Halloween in the Rob Zombie universe that ever gets as good as that again, even though we got Halloween 2, and that just, like, sucked knife. You know what I'm saying? So that's why that is TOMYE's number one movie for Halloween, horror-wise. What do you think of that? What do you think of that list, Alanis?
I think that is fair. I think that
Sorry,
is.
I'm not the stabber. Get a real name, get a real name, get a real name. All right, so it's time for us to talk about some honorable mentions. Alanis, tell me your honorable mentions before I tell mine.
I could have gone on for a very long time and still forgotten some movies, so I threw together. In some of these, I've kind of just combined the franchises because the whole franchises are mentioned because we're not ranking here or anything like that. But Army of Darkness and the Evil Dead franchise, the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, Friday the 13th franchise, Martyrs, and to be clear, the I think French one, not the American one, which was a terrible butchery of a remake. The 28 Days Later, weeks later kind of movies, Warlock, the Leprechaun franchise, In the Mouth of Madness, The Mist, the VHS franchise, Event Horizon, Shopping Mall, Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight, and the Child's Play franchise.
Very good. There's some good honorable mentions. Now I'm just going to mention all the other Scream movies except number 3. All the Halloween movies except a bunch. The Friday the 13th remake that they did was great. Saw number 1 only Saw number 1. What else did I? What other ones did I not mention honorably? I guess I'd give it to Freddy versus Jason and any of the Simpsons horror episodes. They're my honorable mentions. I'm not a big horror guy, as I said. I'm a big slasher guy. And due to the fact that I'm one of them, Michael Myers be one of them, Freddy Krueger is one of them, and Jason Voorhees is one of them, and Pennywise, I've basically mentioned my horror catalog to you all. Except some of the worst ones that I've seen that I can remember, and that is any Annabelle movie ever made. Saw 3D. Halloween 5. Halloween 3. Halloween Ends. Scream 3. All the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies that came after the remake. The Hills Have Eyes remakes. All the Final Destination movies can suck cock. And I'm also going to go with any Exorcist movie that has been made since the original Exorcist.
That is fair. There is a lot of mentions on there that I would also put. So, without repeating myself, I'll say, I Know What You Did Last Summer movies.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one.
I'm gonna say, apart from maybe the first one, the Paranormal Activity movies.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one too.
I'll say,
You know what?
most
Actually,
of the remakes out
I'm
there.
gonna put an honorable mention up again. The Strangers.
Oh yes. I'd like to say the Purge movies as well. Now I think about that as an honorable mention.
And another most hated, Scream the TV series. Go and fuck yourself.
You don't like what they did to your mask, do you?
That's not me, man. I'm fuck off, you know? You're taking my work. They took my job. Keep going.
A lot of the Hellraiser movies.
Yeah.
One particular movie I can remember sticks in my mind, which is just terrible. Troll 2. Never see that movie.
Oh, yeah. Also, I'm going to quickly remind everyone, I don't know how you feel about ALANNIS, you'll probably bag me out for it, but an honorable mention, the Blair Witch remake.
They remade that?
Yep, and it was awesome. I liked it.
I did not know they did that. I'm going to have to look into this.
Yeah, check it out. I liked it.
Huh.
For what it was, I liked it.
I will check this out. Definitely. That's another good dishonorable mention. That's a little weird because it's not on sound mode, but any of the Blair Witch kind of Steadicam clones, a lot of those movies just suck. There's some good ones in there, but I've seen a lot of trash.
Nah, man, make sure you check out the new one. It was like the first one that they decided to like properly put effort into. And it's connected to the original one, and they end up finding like footage and stuff from the original one, and they end up at the same house as the original one and everything.
I like this. I'm gonna have to check that out. When did it come out?
It's out. It's been out for years.
Huh. That went completely under my radar.
That was probably 2016.
Fuck. Well, there you go.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, that goes for everything I think we wanted to do and cover in this episode. How about you?
I am content.
We hope you enjoyed our list. Remember, this is just our list. Of course, everyone has their own lists, and especially around this time at Halloween, you enjoy the list of movies you enjoy during this time. And also, if you feel like sending me your phone number, I won't kill you. Just send it. You don't have to know why, but just I won't kill you.
And if I see you at a Kmart at your local shopping center, I won't kill you.
What do you do, Kmart the Stabber?
Mainly just intimidate kids at Kmart, stab a couple of guys, general B-grade horror stuff.
That doesn't seem down B-grade. That just sounds like fucking time off with good behavior, Well, you just saw Ghostface do a whole podcast on horror movies with a costumed murderer that no one has heard of and he barely murders. So don't say Ghostface is too good to show up at places, okay? Because I'm here. All right. Anything you want to say before we get the fuck out of here?
ALANNIS did have some words he wanted to pass on before I stabbed him.
What were they?
I still see you.
Sorry, I was going to cut my head off and I realized I wouldn't be able to stop the recording if I kept going. So I'm going to do it afterwards, I promise. But I've been your host for this spooky episode of Ranked and Reviewed Ghostface with my co-host, Kmart the Stabber. Fucking hell. And make sure you stick around because unless these guys come back alive, we will still be reviewing Assassin's Creed, the movie. Fucking hell. and the 2 Tomb Raider movies with Angelina Jolie, Tomb Raider and Tomb Raider Cradle of Life, as well as having our Wakanda Forever review come up early November alongside our Black Panther review. All sorts of stuff happening. And on the 7th of November, it'll be Ranked and Reviewed's first birthday. So there'll be an episode celebrating our first birthday. And also, keep a lookout for Ranked and Reviewed Goes to Hell. That is coming soon. And that is a complete scripted series that is still ranked and reviewed, just unlike anything you have seen before. So with that, we're going to head up and we're going to get the fuck out of here. If you liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, share, comment, turn your fucking ding, your notifications on, keep up to date with all what we do here. And please, have a safe Halloween. Only accept candy from good people. And if you see me in the street, you know you're allowed to hop into my car and everything's going to be okay. So thank you and happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween, Halloween.
Halloween, Halloween, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. One more day to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. One more day to Halloween, Silver Shamrock. All right. So, 1 second. Hello. Oh, yeah. You fucked bitch. Yeah. Sorry, ALANNIS, your mum's on the phone. Oh.